No spade dealer. Whew. That gives me such a sweat every time. Let's do the clapping hands. No, that's not sorry. I didn't want to apologize. I want to celebrate. God damn it, GG. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the beginning of a brand new journey here at Carrot Corner Poker Education. This is the GT-only challenge, and in this series I am not allowed to exploit anyone. I'm not allowed to look at player types. I have to play only theoretical poker, trying to imitate to the best of my ability what I think a solver would do in every spot that comes up in-game. In this series, I'm going to be playing 100 Russian cash on GG to start. I'm going to try and build up a big sample there. I'm going to make it fully transparent and accountable. There's going to be a load of these episodes coming out on carrotcorner.com, where we're going to be launching our subscription service from January of 2024. In the meantime, I thought I would bring you guys a taster of this series and record the first ever episode of GT-only right here for you on YouTube. There's going to be a bunch of new content coming out at Carrot Corner from me and some of our other coaches and affiliate coaches, and I want to demo a lot of that here for you for free on YouTube. We're not stopping the YouTube videos. We're still going to be bringing you 2 per week, don't worry. But from January, you're going to have access to a whole new stream of regular instructional poker videos. Carrot Corner is becoming a proper training site. In the meantime, though, you can still grab courses there. If you haven't checked it out, please do. Have a look at our Carrot Poker School. Our short course Cash Injection is also great. It's the opposite of what we're doing today, but it's more exploitative. Check out our content at Carrot Corner, and I hope you really enjoy this series. You're going to see me suffer quite a bit in this series, because at times I'm going to really want to take one action, like I don't want to bluff the absolute calling station whale on the river. But if I think my hand is a good bluff candidate in theory, even if it's only gaining like 1.5 big blinds of theoretical EV, I'm going to have to go ahead and pull the trigger on that bluff. So there's going to be a lot of pain in this series. Sometimes I'm going to get overwhelmed trying to suppress my exploitative instincts, trying to do what I think a solver would do. It's a little bit alien to me. So bear with me, but I really do hope to demonstrate that the reason people get stuck at stakes like 50 NL, 100 NL, whatever, is that their base game is full of too many holes. And if you can fix those holes, just opening this on a 25 or lower, by the way, guys, with the RNG, the low numbers are aggressive, the green ones, and the high red numbers are passive. I'll only use this when I'm rolling, and I'm going to endeavor to state what I'm mixing before I roll. So for example, I'll say, I'll raise this 25% and call 75%, then I'll roll, and then I'll act. I'm going to try and do it in that order, be really deliberate about it. But anyway, I think that having big theoretical gaps is the number one reason people are struggling, apart from like mental game. I think this raises like 40% of the time, I'm just guessing here. The King 5 otherwise folding. I think it's one of those raise fold hands, blind versus blind there. So I'm going to just state what I think is going on, and we'll go from there. King Jack, I'm not playing any 3-bet here. Small blind versus button is one of the only positions on the table where I don't play any call. Sorry, did I say I'm not playing any 3-bet? I'm not playing any call here. I'm obviously 3-betting. Ace 10, we can roll this in 33% 3-bet we'll go with. Just making up numbers, I don't know the exact frequencies. I'm not sat here looking at charts or anything like that. I'm just trying to come up with my best approximation. Very good board for range and for hand. I'm going to play big bets here, especially because these 2 low cards are low enough that villain doesn't make a lot of sets here. I'm going to just pure bet this for B60, because I think my range is basically betting pure on 10-5 deuce. Although I am big blind, I actually should have rolled that. I think there's a bit more check than I thought. And I think there'll be small bet as well going on now. There'll be like a mix of small bet and check. Anyway, onto the turn. I maybe messed up the frequencies there, but anyway. Do I ever check this? I think this one might be a pure bet, and it's just going to be B60. I play B33 here. I don't think I do. Villain's got a lot of ace-x, a lot of redraw, that sort of thing. I think it's a pure B60 spot. For ace 10, I don't think we check, especially with no club. 4-3 is usually a fold. I think I can call it though, like 20% of the time, something like that. It's super indifferent against small blind. If villain jams here, I think we have a pure call-off. River's a bit of a miserable spot. We only have 1/3 pot left. I think we still jam. We're still getting looked up by ace 5, ace 4, 6 at 7s with a club at some frequency, that kind of thing. We can, of course, still be bluffing. I think this is really thin value, but it's better than checking. No snap, please. No snap is good. Oh, he actually thinks with Jack 10. The little slow roll there. Okay. Ace 4, I think, is a bit too good against min open, so just going to call here. So yeah, unfortunate river there, but definitely a spot where jam is going to be better than check. I think that's just a pure all-in with 3rd pot or so remaining. I've done a bit of drilling the GTO trainer at that SBR. Queen 8-4, going to build just big bet. I think this hand is a pure check. I don't think this one gets to stab on the right hand table. Queen Jack, we're going to go ahead and open. I was hoping we'd get like a really winning start to the challenge. That would have been amazing, but stacked right out the gate. Ah well, it happens. Let's keep playing well, keep playing theoretically solidly. Go onwards and upwards from there. I think you just fold even to this with this hand. The very bottom of your range is going to be folding. Globally here, meaning my range, I'm going to be betting maybe 60% of the time, 70% of the time small on this board, probably even more for this hand, like 80 or something. I'm going to go ahead and bet on a 16. Remember, that's an aggressive number, guys. With the Queen of Spades in tow here, we can definitely barrel on the deuce. I'm not going to use overbet. I'm going to use big bet. I'm going to barrel this like 66% of the time, shall we say. Just doing my best here with frequencies. Frequencies are a weird thing, guys. Like, in game theory, like if you look at sim, sometimes it's kind of hard for you to lose EV, but the way I look at frequencies these days is that the higher frequency plays are just more likely to be good against a subset of random strategies. So trying to use the GTO frequencies is good. I think with a spade here, we probably give this up, always. With no club and one spade, I don't think we barrel river ever with that combo, so I'm not going to mix in any bluff. Pocket queens, three-way. The GTO for this spot's super unclear, right? Because it's three-way, and let's face it, no one studied three-way. Just mixing queen jack there. This gets frantic, man. This is harder than just playing normally, by the way. This is super weird. Gonna go ahead and just check range here, I think. The three-way spot. We do face a bet. I think in this scenario against the sizing, we just play call. Raise is not terrible, but I think the theory here is that villains should be kind of polarized. In practice, this is probably a lot of like 7s and 8s and 9s and stuff, and maybe raise is viable or even better, but in the GTO realm, this is probably just a pure call against that sizing. Villain's meant to be building pretty polarized and selectively there. 10.3 with queens. This is a really rubbish spot. I'd imagine, I mean, I have no idea what's going on here. I'd imagine this is pretty strong in practice, but I'm not allowed to think about that. Definitely just a call anyway. Showdown value plus redraw. Against that sizing, I don't think we're ever folding. What does he have? Aces that didn't 3-bet pre. Huh. This is quite a soft pool. Let's give him an angry face. Aces that didn't 3-bet pre. Yeah, it's the very weird pool. Definitely a lot of weaker players. Definitely not the pool to be doing this in, and that's intentional. This is not a pool where GTO is going to be close to the highest strategy in many spots. There's going to be a ton of exploits available. I don't think we've like played many spots yet where in reality, if I wasn't doing this, I would have taken a totally different line. Going to go for check raise a lot here. Some check call, some bet. We rolled an 88. I think we can play overbet block. Yeah, let's play overbet or block. Ace king against 4-bet, we're just going to be pure jamming, or is there some call here? There's actually some call here. We rolled a jam though, which is good because we're running out of time over here. Let's go overbet. Glad that we rolled a jam because I didn't want to have to make a decision. King queen gets it in pre. Do we want to run it twice in this series? Let's embrace the variance, guys. Let's just run it once. Let's be bold. What a flop. Let's be bold in this series, guys. No spade. No spade dealer. Whew. That gives me such a sweat every time. Let's do the clapping hands. No, that's not sorry. I didn't want to apologize. I want to celebrate. God damn it, GG. People 4-bet calling king queen suited. So while there's like lots of exploits I'd want to take in this pool, people are playing horrifically, as you can see. Like that guy just got in king queen suited, hijack versus button or whatever. I think this hand would against a limp. I don't even know what the hell the GTO is. God damn it. Am I meant to play theoretically against a limp as well? Was I meant to fold there? Because like the limp is really strong from hijack. Oh god, this is going to have me playing horrifically against limp. Okay, the limp call range loves this flop. I can like range check here, right? I think I can just check close to everything. I'm supposed to like fold queen 10 pre because the limp is strong. So this is an optional bluff in theory. I'm going to make it quite often, let's say 60% of the time. Let's check this time. I think on this run out, we will have a mandatory bluff. Rolled the raise here with the queen jack. As you can see, totally transparent with the RNG. Sizing wise, B75. Is there some overbet? Like a tiny amount of overbet? Maybe, but mostly just B75. Let's just do it. I think queen 10 is a pure bluff. Queen jack over here. Under the gun versus big blind. Gonna play big bets on this board or small? Let's play big bets and let's bet this about half the time, this combo. Let's play big bet here. Hopefully we get this one through. One time. Something about GG makes me want to like sweat every decision. Get looked up by threes. Okay. Running cold. I think that's appropriate. He's not always going to call with threes. But yeah, I think with the queen high there, we're in pure bet to rain. Like not really much else to say. Obviously, had we rolled aggression earlier, it may have worked out better for us, but that's how it goes. King 9 off. I think we can just fold. Maybe it's a mixed open actually. I don't know exactly in cut off with that hand. Seems really close. So yeah, I'm not going to nail every single spot. 8-6 off. Oh, it's probably just a call. Or is it mix of call and fold? I'm going to mix call and fold. I don't know if it's a pure call. It's right on the borderline once again. Might be a pure fold in some charts, a mix in others. About 25%, something like that for queen jack here. 8-6 on jack 8-7. I'll play big bet or check. So I'm going to check. So what I might do is simplify the options and then try and play the GTO strategy within that, rather than saying like I'm going to play 9 sizes because GTO Wizard plays 9 sizes. Like I'm not going to do that pure check here. But yeah, just hoping to demo that solid play alone in a pool like this is enough to win at a good clip post-rake, that our opponents are hopefully making enough mistakes that we can just play solidly and win. I don't think this would ever fold. We have a pair on the board where I'm blocking most bluffs with the 6 of hearts because they bluff earlier. This is a great bluff catcher, pure call up against half pot, of course. So that is obviously a very overbluff spot in real life, but it's also a call in theory, pure. Luckily there I didn't have a hand that is a fold in theory, because if I did, I would have had to fold in a really overbluff spot, and that would have sucked. Ace 9, I think you can just pure call. Maybe you can 3-bet a bit here, actually, because against 3x, call isn't so good. Let's do 33% 3-bet, the rest call. It's not a million miles away from fold against that sizing, but it's not fold, of course. Just checking ace high here. I don't think there's any lead. I would play b75 or check if I was leading here, but I'm not going to lead this hand. The reason I wouldn't overbet is just the top card pairing really uncaps the opponent's range. And I know, guys, they don't have that much Jack X after they check back flop, but they have some, right? Capped is a relative term. It's not a binary notion. Checking the 9-7 here, ace 10, going to just be a check fold, I think. This backdoor is not quite good enough to do anything with against half pot in this spot. Run against the ace 10 and lose. So far I think we're about break even in this session. I will show you the results at the end. I'm going to be pausing to do that, loading the hands into a replayer. 7-6, there's a bit of 3-bet here, not very much. There's some call as well. Roll a fairly high number. I think we're folding on that roll, especially against that stack, where we're probably a bit less inclined to get involved. King Queen can call, can 4-bet, can it fold King Queen off here? Probably not quite, so I'll just roll, call, and 4-bet. Is it about 50-50? I think it's about 50-50. Don't have a big preference here. King Queen off, the worst offsuit Broadway we're peeling this with, of course. Do I want to start building donk bet on this board? Like, donk bet is a weird thing to do, but it makes some sense on this texture in these positions. I'm going to build a bit of donk. Let's go like 40% donk here. I think this is a spot where you can definitely build donk bet, especially King 10 here. Man, I was meant to 4-bet, but I've run out of time. I didn't really have time to size it and everything. I think King 10 does a little tiny bit of 4-bet, maybe, and I rolled a 13. It's possible. So we have the heart and the spade here, which means that our king and queen outs are a bit more pure than normal. I think this is a bluff at a really high frequency, like 75%, something like that. I guess I check on that roll because I said 75%. I think it's a really high frequency bet. Not all the time, though. These are good because, like, the king of spades can't come on the river, so the only kings are ones that don't complete flushes, apart from hearts. And the queen is the same thing, right? The outs are just a bit better when you block the flush, and also you just block the range that doesn't fold. This is a really nice bluffing candidate, I think. We do have the queen of hearts, which isn't great, but we have the king of spades at the same time. We play a bit of overbet here, a bit of big bet. I've rolled really big. I don't know how well this line's going to do in practice, but let's overbet on that roll. A roll of a 20, I think we should. I feel like this is a line that gets bluff caught a fair bit, actually, because of the it doesn't make sense thought process. But of course, we can play some flushes this way. I don't think it's expected that we play many flushes this way. Like, did we really donk bet the flop and then check the turn? So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we get called here, but I think with the king of spades, this is an overbet on this roll, so I'm going to do it. King queen here, we flat blind versus blind. Wow, we run into the nut flush. Well, we certainly don't mix any call with GTO with this hand. Yeah, the tank jam there is basically the nut flush, I would think. I doubt it's even ace of spades, king X. I mean, it should be in principle sometimes. Was timing down there. Forgot to roll. I think that's actually a mix. And now it's just a pure call. I don't think we play any raise against overbet, especially with these suits. But yeah, that's a mix on the flop. That is a mix on the flop. Interesting spot. I think jam is definitely on the table here. A smaller bet can probably be mixed in as well. I'm going to do like 60-40. Mostly jam here with the nuts. Kind of unfortunate one, that hand where we donk led the flop. I think you can play some small donk though. Definitely wanted to lead the turn off in there, but then on the river, you know, just having to take the bluff in that spot. I don't think it's the best spot in the world, like exploitatively speaking, but it's okay. It's probably going to be fine. A bit of bet here on this board with this hand with the overcard and backdoors I think is okay. Against the sizing, I think we have a pure fold with this hand. We don't fold too much to that sizing, but I think we have to fold that hand. Again, not caring too much about villain's actual strategy, just playing our range in our hand there and how our hand fits into our range. It's pretty much the worst of the worst. This is going to be a tough process. It definitely takes more energy. Queen 7's a pure check in GTO here. Like, we check these middling offsuit cards because they do okay. See, it's so weird. Normally, I just like raise a ton here and c-bet and exploit, but in this spot, I'm just checking. Queen of spades, 7. Queen of spades doesn't really do anything. 7, probably a pure fold. Again, there's lots of stuff you could maybe do in that spot, exploitatively speaking, but we're not concerned with that today. If you're looking for the opposite of what you're seeing here, check out Grade E of the Carrot Poker School. It's an exploitative course built on mass data taken from 50 to 200 NL over the last few years. Massive samples of mass data outlined in tables and graphs and charts, showing you exactly where population is imbalanced in different spots. Check out on carrotcorner.com and watch videos on site, by the way. Now have a look at our video library and watch everything on site without having to download any more bulky files. That's the good thing about our renovation that we did. It's really cool for people just to log on, buy a course, and start watching immediately. I think that adds a lot of value, especially in this day and age. No one wants to download stuff, so really glad we changed that. 873, I think we're playing big bet or check on. I think ace-9 is pretty much all. Maybe there's a little bit of bet, actually. No, it's pretty much always a check, I think. With these backdoor hands, it's a bit more bet than normal. I think this one is just checking when your only bet option is 75. Mostly you're just going to play call against this. Is there any raise going on with this hand? There might be some, like, very little raise going on here in general, actually. So I think we're just going to play pure call. Against check, this gets super interesting. Against bet, what are our bluff raises here? Probably pair plus draw. I think we want some connectivity to the board. I don't think this is one of them. I think this is a pretty clear pure fold. But yeah, interesting against check. I think it's just a check, though, with ace high. Not a particularly amazing run out for us, and some showdown value. It's definitely a river the villains should do a ton of bluffing on, though, if they have weaker than ace high. I think against 3x, ace6 just goes in the bin. Be a bit more selective there with the 3-bets and with our calls. You can definitely start to do stuff with that against 2.5. Even then, it gets close. So really interested to hear what you guys think about this series. Hopefully you're looking forward to it as much as I am. I think it's going to be really cool. As you can see, by the way, guys, we have the Obese Carrot to go with the screen name Obese Beast here, which is my GG name. It is now out. You now know who that is. You now know who I am. Cutoff button. I don't think this hand ever does anything after the cold call. We're going to be a bit more selective with the 4-bets now. I think we would have 4-bet this previously, though, at decent frequency. Wouldn't really like to have 2-pair on this flop. Against 2 players here with kings, I think ace ace 4 is still really good for betting. I think tiny bet here works quite well. Gonna go for like quarter pot or whatever, maybe a bit less. I think this is going to be the GTO sizing multi-way here for sure. And I don't think we can bet call this combo ever. 8-9, going to be mixing bet and check here. Jack 8, I think you can bet. It's got some nutted redraw and stuff like that. Villain leads turn. Don't think gutter plus second pair is ever a fold here, though it is going to get kind of close. I think it's still just close to break even, but slightly winning pure call. And on river with the jack blocker and no diamond, I think we have a pure fold with this combo. I don't think this is ever one of our bluff catches. Just don't think it's doing well enough blocker-wise. When you're in the river there, in theory, it's all just going to be your hand properties. You're going to want a diamond. You're going to want certain things going on. 2-pair, for example, would block less bluffs because you wouldn't have that dangling card that's around there blocking air. So that's how I'd think about it. You're trying not to even think about what I think is overbluffed or underbluffed. Just get fully into this GTO mindset. I think the GTO of 7-3 when there's 2 limps is to check the big blind. Pretty sure it's to range check this flop as well. I mean, these ranges would be different. They'd be stronger. They'd be like defended. They'd be uncapped to some extent, maybe. Especially this one. Is this a good enough draw to lead in this node? King, queen, actually, we're going to mix a lot. This is like mostly call, actually. This one might even be close to pure call. Did roll a really low number, though, so let's 3-bet. I think both plays are roughly the same EV. I go for a really small bet here at very high frequency. I think I'll mix some B75 here with a 7 just at a low frequency. We roll something really big, obviously. Terrible river for range. Make the flush here. Do we do some check? We probably do a little bit of check, but mostly just bet here. Gonna check on that roll. It's a really, really high roll. The 10 here, what do we want to bluff with? Like, I mean, it needs to be like on really, really low rolls that we bluff only there. I think this is pure check raise. I don't think we slow play this hand. Jam is an option, so is smaller raise. I feel like it's just going to play smaller raise, to be honest. I'm just going to go for this sizing. Villain calls, we get the last diamond, sticking it in theory here. No slow playing on a node like this at all. This is better for our range than theirs, generally, this 4th card, so I don't think they're going to do much reopening in theory, so we just jam. The old 8-7 off with the diamond. This is maybe the biggest problem of opening 8-7 off in the cutoff and then calling a 3-bet, is that sometimes you get flush over flushed on a 4-flush river, guys, after you've bet called the turn with nothing. Not quite nothing, but you get the point. So this pool, I'd like to just claim that even though the rake is high and even though we're making a ton of like bad theoretical plays, well, theoretically correct plays that are awful against certain people in some spots that we're just, by playing solidly, we're making it all back just by pool leaking money to us in ways like that. Like, we were disciplined there. I'd like to just go bet there normally, by the way, against a player like that. But I decided to mix some check because we're doing the proper thing. And then we still just played normally, and GTO did well against the opponent, or my version of it, which will not be perfect by any means. Pure check here. Range on deuce 5 queen. Just avoiding building a betting range when I'm cold called. On most boards, there are some exceptions. 7-5, I think this is going to be a pure call. The 3-bets here tend to be a little bit more either connected or bad. Like if you have like Jack 4 suited, you can do it because it's bad enough. 7-5 I think is just like too good as a call. The call EV is just a bit higher than the 3-bet EV. Queen deuce deuce will just play big bet. I think this hand pure checks for now. Might bluff later. Not this time. Ace Jack here, gonna pure check again. We've been cold called, so just starting with check here. In reality, these checks, we're going to face bets a ton, right? And when we have this part of our range, it's going to suck a bit. But when we have the good part of our range, it's going to be good. Like, this is probably an overstabbed situation in this pool. But hey, that's fine. I think Ace Jack against the sizing is already super close against third pot. I think we can raise. I'm going to do some raise, some call, and some fold here. Kind of middling. God, I really don't love this fold in real life. But yeah, folding on that roll in theory seems right, just about. I think ace queen is a pure continue in one way or another. Queen 8-4 is small bets. I can do a little bit of check. 73, that probably is high enough for me to check back. Probably like 70% bet there or something like that. So 73 going over that. Gonna go B75 here when I bet. I think this is a pure bet now. I don't think I can check again now, in theory. With some weaker queen, I definitely could. And the 7 of diamonds river, we're obviously just checking back on this card. Not many rivers we can't value bet there, but that's definitely one of them. Right, who's got the RTA for splashed pots available? Anyone going to give me that for a second? Imagine that was a thing. RTA for splashed pots. People probably have done sims about these. I don't know if this is a thing in GTO Wizard, whether you can like look these up. The min raise is like so pathetic here. Do I want to call or do I want to raise? And reopening with this hand seems really tragic. I think call is too good here. I'm just trying to wing this. Obviously, I don't know the theory of the spot, but I think call is way too good, whereas like raise folding with all that dead money present sucks. Okay, so if I'm playing, what am I playing then? What's my toolkit here? Big bet or check, or B70, over bet or check, so I'm just checking. You could block, by the way, there in real life or something. I'm just playing a strategy that doesn't involve block here. So check call is obviously very, very winning and the only play. Should win this one. Oh, the ace-9, one of the few combos we actually lose to there. I was thinking people bet like 10s too often on flop. So yeah, 3-bet may have worked out well, but maybe not. People have been flatting 3-bets with 8-7 off and stuff like that in this session, so who knows? I think this is a mixed open on button with king 7. But yeah, fun first session. Going to bring this to a close now. I'm going to show you the session graph because it is going to be like a challenge kind of fun thing. So while I'm a big believer that students don't obsess over their graphs for sessions or weeks or months or even 50k hands, I do think that looking at graphs will be entertaining for the series. So I'm going to sell out. I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring a graph up, guys. Please forgive me. I'll say my Hail Marys tonight, you know, forgive me for that sin, but I think it's going to be good for the challenge to show the graphs. Ace-8 here, folding. Going to click global cash game sit out here, and we're going to look at the results of this session. Well, guys, the results are in, and we are losing at 12 BB per 100 over 247 hands. The yellow line is even worse because we held up with that ace-king against the rogue king-queen suited that got it in pre for no reason whatsoever. I'd expect this red line to level out a bit as this series continues. I'd hope we can play a sort of relatively flat looking red line or something like that with this strategy. It won't be like a blitzing, running people over, winning red line, but I don't think it's going to be like a desperately losing one either. And yeah, let's hope that the next session is going to be better. Don't forget, you can check out the continuation of GTOnly on Twitch. We're going to be streaming there a bit. We're going to be doing this. It's carrot_corner. Definitely follow us so you're notified when this series launches there and goes live. And also on carrotcorner.com, from January onwards, you can follow the bulk of this series along with a load of other content that we're going to bring you when we launch our subscription package next year, 2024. In the meantime, you can still find loads of our educational content on Carrot Corner. Check it out. We've got the Carrot Poker School there, the big giant theoretical course. See what you think of it. You can watch some preview videos right now, and I'll see you back here on YouTube for another video very soon. Don't forget to smash that like button and let me know what you think about this concept. See you soon.